Hi, everyone. Hello, it's nice to be here. I'm talking to business owners is one of my favorite things to do, and I want to appreciate Business Day for putting this together, and to the people that will also be speaking, the various business experts that will be speaking. It's going to be an interesting section. I asked to talk first because I have a training that is going to start by 12. So I'm going to stay till then, and I can go have that training section. And the topic, how to grow your business in challenging times. I have 10 minutes. I'll try to make sure that I don't talk up to 10 minutes. And I'm going to also be citing examples so that we can take on the learnings. I'm going to be citing examples of how we've been able to deal with challenges that has faced our businesses as we've been running businesses. So we started Redalia in 2015. And for us to still keep our lights on up till now, and also not just that we are running this business, we are not running this business in the US or in the UK, we are running this business in Nigeria. Already being a business owner in Nigeria is already a challenge. So how do you grow your business? How do you deal with these business challenges? The first thing that I advise any business owner to do is always to go back to the drawing board. Go back to your business model. Why did you start this business? And there's a tool that we use. We use the business model Canva. I don't know if anyone has heard about this tool before. It's a tool that you can use to reevaluate your business. You can use it if you're starting a business. You can use it if you already are running a business and you want to go back and reevaluate everything. What are you going to be doing? You are going to be checking the different changing environments and conditions, and you're going to really go back and look at, okay, what are the assets that I have? What are the resources that I have? What are the existing expertise that I have? Which one am I leveraging? Which one am I not leveraging? How can I make use of it so that I can really not close my doors? And what happened during COVID was that one of the businesses that we run, the Redalia co-working space, was badly hit by COVID. So instead of shutting down our door, what we did was to go back and say, I called my team together and we said, what is it that we have? What asset, apart from this building, apart from the assets that we have, what else do we have? And then in addition to the co-working space being badly, the knowledge industry was booming. So in our business, it's a business of business development experts. And we also looked at our target audience. What do they need? Businesses were shutting down while some other people were opening up their doors. So that particular period, we understood that we need to cater to a new market. We needed to create another product, and that gave birth to entrepreneurs.ng/shop. So that meant that we started teaching entrepreneurs. Initially, we didn't think about the revenue aspect, but it was a value. And when they started asking for more, we then began to look at how to structure it as a business. So I think what I'm trying to say in this particular case is for you to look at your existing assets. Which one are you not exploiting as much as you can? And then you can begin to look at how to get a new revenue from what you have without having to open another shop, without having to spend another money. The second thing you will do in challenging times is to lock down on the customers that you have. As a business owner, you need to always constantly distribute your time between maintaining the customers that you have and then looking out for new customers. What I advise is 30-70. 30% to maintain the new ones that you have and 70 to go out to look for new customers. And during that period too, while I belong to a group of women who own co-working space, and we're about like 13 in that group, 70% of the people in that group shut down their co-working space during COVID. Why did we, one of the things that I believe helped us to keep our doors up was that instead of us really crying to say, okay, the co-working space is badly hit by this COVID, what I did was normally the customer segment aspect of our business handles the customers in our business, but I took it upon myself and I put it in my to-do list every Monday after our team meetings that within 3 hours, I'm going to spend a lot of time with all of our clients. It doesn't matter whether you are using the space that can take 8 people or you're just using one desk space. I call you every Monday after our team meetings, and I'm not talking about, oh, come and pay us. We were not sending out invoices. We are just communicating with them. I was trying to get familiar with them. How is your family? How are you coping? How do you have food? Your business, what is happening with it? Do you need my help in anything? I was constantly doing this thing, and this thing kind of created a lot of bond between me and these people that I see every day that I just knew as clients. We became more of families, and we never needed to send invoices, and they're like, oh, Florence, we need to pay. And after 3 months, even when they were not coming into the office, these people continue to pay us. So we had up to 60% occupancy rate while others were closing shop, even when our co-working space was shut. So I've talked about go back to the basics, look at what your existing expertise are, see how you can target new people with another product or target the people that you have with another value proposition. The third thing that you would do is to enhance your online presence. And what I also mean, not just your online presence, enhance your overall marketing strategy. Go big on your content marketing. Make yourself an authority in your industry. Understand how SEO works so that when you put out content online, people can find it. Look at how you can leverage email marketing and communicate with your audience. Look at how you can leverage social media. Why do you need to do this? This will help increase your visibility. And when you have a very good when you're very visible, it means that you will also attract a new audience. We've talked about using your existing expertise. We've talked about locking down on the people you have. Then you need to get more people to know you. It's not a time where you're going to really start crying about, oh, I'm going through a challenging time. It's a time for you to toughen up and really come out while other people are crying. Then the fourth thing that you will do is to go back and start looking at all of your expenses like a hawk. Use microscope, look at every expense. Look at what needs to go out, look at what needs to be cut off, and also watch your cash flow. Diesel, we run a 50 kV gen. Diesel normally, as at 2020, we are buying at 200 and it's increased to 800. What are we supposed to do? We learned that banks were now closing by 3 p.m. and we needed to put our gens up from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. And this was not profitable. We are not even breaking even in the co-working aspect of the business. What did we do? I had to talk to every of our clients individually to relate this challenge to them. We want to be serving you, we want to continuously do this thing that we do, but we cannot do it. So we have to look at the options that we have. What options do you think that we can actually imbibe to also continue to create value for you? We already knew what can work, but we are not going to just send emails and say, oh, this is what we are not going to do. So with their inputs, every single person's inputs, we then had like a town hall meeting and we agreed that the gen, instead of coming up by 8 a.m., would then come up by 9 a.m. and then we'll switch it up by 4. That's if we are using gen. If there's NEPA, if there's electricity, then it's nothing changes, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. So in as much as you're going to reduce costs and internally in your business operations, making sure that you only buy what needs to be buy. In your also service offering, you can also look at how to reduce the expenditure that you make in delivering your value if it's going to impact your business, especially if it's something that you didn't plan for, because we didn't plan that diesel was going to go from 800, 200 naira to 800. So the next thing is to build strategic partnerships so that you can become that one-stop shop for other business owners. And in doing that, we are building to be the one-stop shop for entrepreneurs. We register their businesses, and we registered over 3,000 businesses. We don't want these people to go out. We still want to keep them in our community and keep their money. What else do you need to do when you finish this service point with us? Can we partner with other people who can do it? That's what we've done. We've partnered with banks. It has to be very strategic. It has to be mutually beneficial for you. They have to be helping you mitigate risk and offer services that you cannot offer. So those are the ways that you can use to run your business in challenging times. And as a recap, look at your existing expertise and see how else you can offer value with what you have. Lock down on the customers that you have, increase your online presence so that you can begin to get more people. Also watch your expenses, look at your costs, build strategic relationship. And while you do it, make sure that you stay positive. All of these things don't just happen in a flash, it's a process. Stay positive, be hopeful, and also remain agile. Thank you all.
Thank you very much, Florence. That was quite insightful. And I must say that I think I was quite impressed by how you locked down on your customers. I mean, by way of checking in on them, being personal to some level. I thought that was really really nice. So no, my question now would be how were you able to balance the charges, workspace charges, for example, and the rising cost of operations? So did the charges increase, and then how come, and then with the 60% rate of other people, competitors closing down, and you still have that? So was it that the prices didn't go down, the charges didn't go down, or what? And how were you able to manage that?
So we could not afford to increase the prices because our prices were already competitive. So what are the other options? If for the type of business that we run, if you increase the prices, they have the option of just working from home, aside the fact that we offer a community in our space. And our mission is not just providing office space. You just also have to tie it to what your mission is. Our mission is nurturing entrepreneurs to ensure that they run a very sustainable and successful business. So if we just go from the price point and increase the price, then we are not fulfilling that mission. So there is going to be a balance between us being profitable and also ensuring that they themselves, who are clients, that they are also putting their lights on. So the way we could have solved that was that, okay, what do you need if the light is not on? You need to have an internet, right? If you have an internet, you can then work. If your laptop is charged, you can work. So we had to get more UPS that could last longer, and tell them that, okay, the light goes up by 4. So within that 2 hours that you are missing, you can still work. The only thing is that the light is not up. If your laptop is charged, you still have access to internet. And we didn't just make that decision, we made it together. They understood what was in need, what we were going through. And we also started looking at that aspect of our business as a value chain, not just an end in itself. It brings people in, they need to do other things. So if we just leave them, then the other service points that we offer, it means that they will not benefit from it.
Thank you very much, Florence. We really appreciate your time. But before you go quickly, I'd like to know if we have any questions for Florence, please. Esther, Blessing, Victoria Busayo. Yeah. All right. Thank you very much, Florence. We really appreciate your time. Thank you so much. So yeah, thank you. So now we would listen to Omar Clark. Omar Clark, are you ready for us?
Yes, I am.
Oh,
Not
I
on
hope
my
I'm
video.
pronouncing
Can you
that
see me?
correctly.
Yeah?
Did I pronounce your name correctly?
Omar Clark? Yeah, that's fine.
Oh, very well then. So, okay, just to do the introductions quickly.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for having me,
Yeah.
I do appreciate. So I'm Omar Clark. I run iBase, which is a software business. Yeah. I
Yeah.
also designed applications, handy-jacks.com. You guys go and check it out and look at it. And let's share. So I'm passionate about digital technologies, as you can tell. I work in software and using software, digital technologies to improve businesses. So by way of introduction, but you can Google me, you'll find out.
So yeah, all right. So pardon me. I'm sorry for interjecting, but
that's fine.
I thought I think it's very important for me to read out your profile, because that's what I'm going to do to every speaker, just so everyone knows you.
Okay, read it out. Go on.
Thank you. So Omar Clark is founder of iBears, a growing software company that specializes in web software development, SEO, application support, and maintenance. And Omar brings a wealth of expertise to the software development industry. She is a qualified IT practitioner with many years of experience in software development, a digital auditor certified by the International Trade and ISO, and is also ISO 9001 qualified. Omar has worked for various local and international organizations in the areas of program management, release management, business analysis, system design, application testing, and many other areas. Omar is a member of the Institute of Software Professionals of Nigeria, the Nigeria Internet Registration Association, a mentor at Founder Institute Lagos, and a Global Women Entrepreneurs Initiative.
A fellow of the Global Women.
Fellow. Pardon me, yeah, fellow of the Global Women Entrepreneurs Initiative. Yeah, so she's an alumnus of Brunel University, UK, with a Master's in Information Systems, and London Guildhall University, UK.
Guildhall University.
Guildhall, thank you for helping me with that.
That's
with a BA in Business Admin. So, without further ado, I'd like us
and I'm
to
pursuing
welcome...
a doctorate in Information Systems.
Oh, fantastic! I love it. Without further ado, let us welcome Omar Clark with a round of applause and comments in the chat.
Thanks.
Yeah,
so awesome. Thank you so much for having me. I think a lot of what I'll be saying, will complement what the previous speaker just said, because I suppose we're all operating in the same kinds of environment. So like growing your business in challenging, situations. First of all, what is challenging? This is the way I will start. In Nigeria, I think globally, at the moment, actually, I'm in the US, so it's 5 o'clock in the morning here. Globally, the business environment is challenging. In Nigeria, it is challenging. I still run my business in Nigeria. I ran my business, I've been running my business in Nigeria since 2013. So some of the things we face, which is what everybody faces, we have electricity or power supply challenges. We all know that affects your business, whether it's a software business like mine or people that do more physical stuff. It's the same challenges we face. We have government regulations, changing government policies. We all know about the cash shortage, forex shortage for people that need to do stuff in short. Those things are very important and they affect our businesses. High cost of business financing. If you're a small business like me, and you want to get capital, the barriers, that prevent you from getting it. Poor state of infrastructure, logistics, all these things affect us. Having market information data, that's a problem. Red tape, bureaucracy, finding competent staff. Somebody like me that works in the software industry, getting staff that have the requisite technical software development knowledge, sometimes it's a challenge, building trust, bribery, corruption. So these are some of the things that face us in Nigeria, small businesses today, So how do you operate, So the first thing is, I think you shouldn't operate blindly because some people just do things. You need to be intentional. You need to be proactive in everything you do. So like the previous speaker said, one of the first things you need is to have a clear business plan. What is your vision? If a business plan is a living document, So it's not like you've had it once and you just throw it away. It's something you need to keep revising on a weekly, monthly basis, what's your vision? What's your value proposition? Who are your clients? Where are they? And as she says, so one of the biggest things you can, or one of the best tools you can use rather, is the Lean Business Model Canvas. You can Google it and get it. It's a one-page business plan, as people say, that is kind of like divided into two areas. It talks about the customers, what you need to do for them, and it talks about your product, what you need to do for that. So it's good for you to have that. And your staff and everybody that works with you needs to share your vision. They need to understand what you're doing, what you're trying to achieve, especially when you're operating in turbulent times as we are. So then you need to understand your strengths, your weaknesses, and then the opportunities and threats. So do a SWOT analysis, I mean, and they said if the worst person you can lie to is yourself. So you need to really sit down, take time and identify what are your strengths, You're operating in times that are not too clear. There's no naira. What are your strengths? What can you do? What are your weaknesses? What are the opportunities? You need to be really like, you need to know that and lock that down. Then you need to understand the environment you're operating in. Because we're like, it's challenging. What is challenging? I just listed a few challenges, but are all of those things, do they pertain to your industry or where you're working, or what, what are the things that are unique? So you need to do a pest analysis. You need to understand the political environment, economic environment, the social environment, and the technology environment. So when you talk about political now, if we take Nigeria, for example, 200 million people, high unemployment, high youth unemployment, there's underemployment. You need to understand these things. Nigeria is multicultural, multi-ethnic. How does that affect your business? Where are you operating in Nigeria? We've just had elections in Nigeria. How and all the whatever issues that are, how does that affect your business? So you need to understand that we're electing a new government. How does that affect your business? There's high inflation in Nigeria. That's the economic anyways. You need to think about all of this. So understand the political situation that you're operating in and how you can do better, or how you can operate in that political economic environment. Then the economic overview. So for example, I just talked about there's high unemployment, high inflation in Nigeria. How does that affect you when you're trying to get credit, when you're trying to, do things? How does that affect you? Oil prices, that is one of the things that drives the Nigerian economy. How does that affect you? You need to take some time to understand that, understand the social environment we're operating in, what's going on in the environment all around you. And then the technology environment as well. Technology changes very quickly. These days, everybody's talking AI. How does that affect your business? So we need to think about that. So that's understanding that. So when you've done all of that, then the other thing that you want to do and think about very carefully, and I think the previous speaker also alluded to this, is streamlining and improving your operations. You need to cut costs where you can, So when you take a look at all your expenses, what are the areas where you can cut costs? Automate what you can. Not everything can be automated. And I say this as an IT professional of over 20 years. Not everything can be automated. So you need to think about what can be automated to streamline your operations so that you can do things better, faster, and more efficiently. You need to think about that. Then there's the area of employees. Do you need all the staff you have? Do you have good staff? One of the things in an environment like this where people are laying off staff is you can actually get some good quality staff out there, if you look very carefully. But, you need to, again, it's a strategy. It's not something you can just do willy-nilly like that. You need to think about it carefully. What staff do you need? What are they doing? Are they just there sitting down doing nothing? Or, are they productive? Are they adding value to your business? So you need to think about all of those very, very carefully. Then, again, in turbulent times, people cling to stability. Your customers, you need to they'll stay with you if you are offering them what they want, or they have other options. So you need to really ensure that you are maintaining very quality customer relationships. You are meeting your customer needs. What you want to do is focus on the 80% of your customers that are adding value. And then the 20%, like in my business, there are some people that come, I want to build a website, for example. Okay, we'll spend so much time talking to them, days on end, back, forth, back. At the end of the day, nothing. You know what I mean? It's like I've just wasted my time, you know. So you want to be very, very careful. You know, focus on the customers that are actually bringing money, that are adding value to your business, that are contributing, as opposed to the people that just, I don't know, maybe they are trying to research, or I don't know what they are trying to do, and they just waste. You spend so much time and energy, and then at the end of the day, nothing is coming from there. So you want to be very careful about that as well. And then also you need to look at your customer service. You know, these days it's all about customer experience, you know, so you need to make sure that every touch point you have with your customer, you know what I mean, you are offering them the best that you can offer them, from when they contact you, however they contact you, whether you have a physical store and they are walking in, or it's online service you are operating. But at every touch point, you need to ensure that you are giving them the best, because there are so many. You have your competitors are many, so that they don't run to the other person, you know, because customer loyalty, what is customer loyalty? So you need to make sure you're doing that. Then marketing is key. You need to be kind of aggressive in your marketing, you know. Like back in the days when I used to, like, when you're trying to, in this kind of environment, you're trying to, it's challenging, you're trying to cut costs, you're trying to, how do you market? So like back in the days, you know, I used to go to events, and when we go to the events, like, we have a strategy. So some people think it's just going to event. No, you have to be strategic in everything you do. I'll go to an event and the plan is, okay, talk to as many people as possible, but make sure that I get contacts for minimum 5 people. And then it's not like you go home and you sit down on this contact. When you get back home, you make sure you reach out to them, you organize meetings with them, and you get, so it's not like, you know, and then you you know, it's not like I'll just go and do this. So that's one way. You go there. And another thing, I used to blag my way into meetings as well. Oh, you have to pay for it. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm a small business. I don't have money. You know what I mean? Can you give me a discount? So never be afraid to ask for discounts or things like that. You know, you need to do whatever you can. But invest in aggressive marketing. If you have a website, make sure that your website, you know, is offering, is actually speaking on your behalf. You know, your website needs to tell people what you're doing. You know what I mean? When people go onto your website, they need to, and that comes to branding. So branding is another thing. So in fact, I will talk about that together with branding. Your brand is who you are. You know, when you see Coca-Cola, when you see Pepsi, already you have a picture of who you are. So your brand is what people perceive you to be. So when people, you need to be intentional with your branding. You need to make sure, so branding is not just your logo or your colors or everything, it's all of those things together, but it's also the perception. When people encounter your brand, you know, what do they think about you? When people, business day, what's the perception they have about you? You know, you think those things are intentional, you need to be intentional about those things, you know. So your website needs to reflect your values. It needs to reflect your proposition, you know, what you're offering your clients, and people need to know what they are getting from, you know, your value proposition is what you're giving your clients. So if you're a website developer, when they come to your website, they need to know, okay, you can build e-commerce web, you know what I mean? So your value, your branding needs to be intentional. You need to really focus on that and put some energy into that. And then you need to be agile, you know, and adaptive. It just means that you need to be able to pivot, change, recognize opportunities, seize them, diversify quickly if the market demands. I remember, if I talk about the COVID, during the COVID, I had, there's a person I know that used to run a logistics business, a transportation business, let me call it that. You know, they had cars that they rent out to companies, they have buses, school buses, and all manner of things, everything physical, very little technology presence, you know. And then COVID came, and this company that had over 500 cars, one day they were all on the road, the next day they're all sitting at home doing nothing. 500 cars with drivers, everybody sitting at home doing nothing. The cars were just parked. They used to rent out cars to companies that have a lot of expatriates. Expatriates went home. Cars were just there. They had like SUVs and things like that. Everything just parked, you know. So we're talking. So what do you do? How do you pivot? So I came up with a plan for them. Why don't you try and do something? First of all, you know, let people start. We talked about different ideas. I think some of them they implemented, some they didn't. But one of the things is, okay, apart from like opening your cars up to the, why don't you have self-drive cars? Somebody, I can just come to you and rent it. I can, call you, I need a car to rent. Then I can self-drive it myself if I want to drive a Jeep by myself, or I can rent your driver, do it online, and all different models, so they were willing to try all different things just to make sure that the cars are not sitting idle, drivers are not sitting idle, even though they had to let go of a lot of people, but you need to be able to think quickly on your feet and do that when the market is a bit turbulent and, not moving fast. And then cash flow, you need to really monitor your cash flow. You're a small business, if you are used to dipping your hands in the tills and things like that, then you want to really, make sure that you monitor those pennies. Where are they coming from? Where are they going to? And things like that. So that's just, so those are some of the things, my things. So just to reiterate what I said, have a very clear business plan, know what you are doing, know where you are, know where you want to go to and where you're going to, do your SWOT analysis to understand your strengths and your weaknesses. What areas can you keep? What can you outsource? Think about things like understand your the environment you are in is challenging, but what is challenging about it? You can do a pest analysis to see, what's happening and where you are. Streamline and improve your operations, make sure that you are giving proper good service to your customers, quality customer service. Be a little bit aggressive in your marketing. There's so many marketing options, both digital and traditional. Not everything will be good for you. So choose the one that is best fit for you and use it. Be agile and adaptive, be willing to change, and have a different model if necessary, and just monitor those pennies. So that is my take for this morning. Over to you, Oludara.
Thank you very much, Omar Clark. That was insightful. Yes, I'm very sure with everyone has, quite a number of insights to share today. So I'm just reiterating the point that really resonated with me, and that's about being very deliberate, about how SMBs, for example, you're trying to go with the trends and know what is happening in your industry. You go for an event, you just don't think you're going there for going sakes, you have to be very deliberate about stuff. And yeah, so thank you very much. But yeah, do we have any questions? I have like 2 or 3 questions quickly. Or are you still with us, Omar Clark? Or do you
I am here.
Oh, fantastic. So we'll just take all the questions. We had to take Florence's just because she had to leave for a training.
That's
all right.
Fine.
Thank you very much. Yes, but I've taken down a few questions for Omar Clark. All right, now we'll be having Busayo Balogun. So Busayo Balogun is, pardon me, please, and I'm trying to... Busayo Balogun is the founder of Carnelian Tech Advisory Limited, a growing consulting company that specializes in project management, business transformation, data analytics, and IT advisory services. Busayo brings a wealth of expertise to the project management space. She's a qualified project manager in widely used methodologies, is certified Scrum trainer, and has also worked on different multi-million-dollar projects for various multinationals in various sectors in the areas of business analysis, system design, application testing, vendor management, and application support. Some of her previous roles include senior project manager with one of the top-tier banks in Nigeria, where she executed projects that spanned across 150 branches. Busayo is known to be a very great strategist and a software developer. Busayo is a global member of the Project Management Institute, and also she is an alumni of the Academy for Women Entrepreneurs, an initiative supported by the US Consulate. She is passionate about helping professionals and organizations build a culture that adopts the agile mindset while using the right methodologies and frameworks to increase their bottom lines. So please let us welcome Busayo, either with a round of applause or with some warm words in the chat box. Yeah, let's have you, Busayo. Welcome.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's session. Dara, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Welcome to today's session. Okay, yeah, I'm not going to beat so much around the bush because I know, the last two speakers have been able to, really point us in the direction of what to do when, you find yourself as a business owner in a challenging times. And when I saw this topic, I was particularly glad about it because I know that as business owners, usually you do not find resources or you do not find, materials out there really talking about how to deal with challenges in the business environment. So everybody is quick to talk about their wins. Everybody's quick to talk about what it is that is going on fine. But then again, what do you do when you find the ground, shifting beneath you, right? What do you do when you find yourself scrambling to make sure that your business, this business that you're putting so much time and effort and everything into, doesn't just go to waste, basically. So what do you do, right? And that was why when I saw this topic, I was, particularly glad about it, right? So yes, as you have said, today what I have done is to, put my thoughts in like 3 categories, right? So 3 categories being the first one is the be category, right? And then the other one is the do category. And then the third one is the have category, right? So the be, do, and have category. Those are the 3 categories that I've put my thoughts in and everything that I intend to share today, right? So the B category, what do I mean by this? Yes, now you're in a turbulent time. You're facing challenges with regards to your business, right? It's not the time to start running helter-skelter like we do, right? It's not the time to start applying band-aids to like bullet wounds. It's not the time to start looking for it's not the time to start, throwing everything on the wall and hoping something would stick, right? It's the time to sit down and have what we call a mindset shift, right? So that's what I mean by the do be category, right? So this is the time to have a mindset shift. You want to sit down, you want to ask yourself questions, right? So I believe it's James Allen that says, you cannot travel within and stand still on the outside, right? Yeah. This is to paraphrase a quote from James Allen. You cannot travel within and stand still on the outside, right? So this is the time to, sit down and ask yourself questions. This is the time to really understand what it is that is really going on with your business. You want to take the time to really understand what exactly the problem is, right? So you want to, in Agile, we have what we call retrospectives, right? This is the time you want to sit down and retrospect everything, that is presently going on in your business. You want to be sure that you're listening to the right people. You want to be sure that you're, at this time, you're not messing things up for yourself. You want to be sure that, so who are the people that you have in your ears at this time, right? Are they the people that are telling you that, oh, it's all a mess, like there's no solution to this, you can't find like anything around it, right? So this is what I mean by the big category. This is the time to sit down, check inwards, and in order to be able to affect whatever it is or to do something about whatever it is that is going on the outside, right? Then the second category, like I mentioned, is the do category. So now that you have sat down, you now understand what exactly the problem is. You now have a mindset shift in the sense that you're aware of the problem. You know what exactly is going on now, and you have the belief now that, okay, you can tackle whatever it is, right? Now that you know that you can tackle whatever it is, the next thing is for you to then begin to look for the principles within the model, right? Now you're checking, what are the things that I can do to affect this situation? What are the things that I can do better? So, which was why I mentioned the, retrospective earlier on, right? So this is the time that you're sitting down to ask yourself questions. So what exactly is it that I can do to affect this situation? What can I do? Is it for me to begin to streamline our processes, right? Is it for me to begin to build my team morale? Because at that point, too, everybody within the organization is also kind of like, tensed, right? They want to know what exactly it is that we're going to be doing to make situations better or to make the situation better, basically, right? So this is the time that you also want to check. You want to check
and make sure that your team morale is good, right? Everybody is good. You make them understand whatever the problem is and the fact that you're looking for solutions, right? You involve your team because, you know, as business owners at times, I've come to realize that a lot of times we like to hide, right? So things are not going well. You're not really coming out to let everybody on the team understand that things are not really going well, right? So this is the time to bring everybody together, to build their morale and get understanding from them as a team, right? Get understanding from your team members, ask them questions. You'll be shocked. Some of them even already have some of the solutions that you're looking for, right? So this is the time to do that. Another thing I usually advise people in this period is to take a step back, right? You're the owner of the business. You can't see the picture when you're in the frame, basically. So at times, you don't even know that your house stinks when it stinks. Like, do you understand? So, and this is where, you know, the option of maybe getting somebody like an expert or someone. Yes, I know you're facing turbulent times and you shouldn't be spending money. But then again, you have to be wise in the kind of you have to understand some of the things that you really need. And I think these are the things that come from the point of introspection, when you've really taken the time to really understand what the issue is. So as Omo rightly pointed out, you know, at this time, maybe you've even done your SWOT analysis, you've checked to see, okay, why are we facing these problems? Right? What exactly is it that we're doing that is not working? Do you get, like, okay, with regards to the problems that we're facing right now, do I have the capacity or do I have the know-how, you know, to actually move us from point A to point B? If you do not have them, then it means you have to get someone on board. You have to take a step back and then ask someone that is, you know, maybe versed in this to come on board, you know, to show you how to do it, basically, right? So that's another point that I like to point out to people in this period. It's time to take a step back, right? It's a game changer for a lot of businesses, because when you bring somebody else on board, you know, to come analyze whatever the issue is and then give you their own perspective of everything, it helps, right? So it's a time to take a step back, right? So another thing I also pointed out is it's time for collaboration, right? So maybe now you've brought in this person and then they've been able to give you all the tips and points and everything on how to, recommendations basically on how to go about everything now. Then it's now time for you to begin to implement, right? So you're implementing. In your implementation, some of them you might actually need to, you know, collaborate with people on, right? Collaboration, they say now, is the new currency, right? You don't have to do everything alone, right? You don't have to do everything alone. It's time for you to begin to think, okay, the business that I do, how do I collaborate with other people, you know, to make sure that we're not totally at a loss with everything that we're going through at the moment, right? I think it was the first speaker that actually mentioned it. Yeah, so she talked about the fact that, you know, they had to then start looking into collaborations, right? And they had to collaborate with some other organizations. So yes, this is the time to start collaborating. It's the new currency. Don't be but before collaborating, you have to understand what your value is, right? And all that you must have done in the period of introspection. So you know what your value is, you know what it is that you're going to meet these people with. So you're not just going to only take from them, right? So it's going to become like a mutual, so a relationship where it's both beneficial. It's beneficial to both parties, right? Mutually beneficial, right, to both parties. So it's time to go, right, to that point where you begin to collaborate with other people, to find out the people that you can collaborate with, to find out the people that you can, you know, do stuff with, you know, to actually help you to still achieve the goal that you want to achieve as an organization, right? So yes, another thing I also listed here was, yes, I talked about retrospective, and I'm very big on that because, you know, in the agile world, that's one of the things that we don't joke about, right? This is how you're able to really trash things out, right? As a business, from time to time, you have to have what we call like a retrospective. You have to be able to sit with your team. You have to be able to sit by yourself to find out what exactly is it that we're doing that is working. Because if you're not careful, you would also find yourself back in this situation again, right? What exactly is it that we're doing that is not working? What is it that we're doing that is working that we want to continue with? Do you understand? What is it that we are not doing at all that we want to start doing, right? So in some cases, maybe some of the things that you're not doing is you're not really aggressive with your market, like your marketing, like almost said. In some cases, it might be that you're not really following up with your customers. Do you understand? Like the first speaker said, during COVID, how they called, they kept calling customers basically to find out how they're doing, check up on them and all that, right? So this might actually even be what you want to do at this point, right? So at this point, you want to take like that retrospective. You want to check what exactly are we not doing that we need to start doing? What are we doing that we want to continue doing? What are we not doing at all that we want to start doing? What are we doing that we shouldn't even be doing, right? Because you tend to find out that in periods like this, people then tend to, start, it's not the time to start creating more products, basically, right? Because a lot of times you do this and then you spread yourself thin, and then you end up not achieving the result that you want to achieve. So it's the time to, basically drill down to what it is that you have, right? Drill down to what the mission of the company is, drill down to the products that you have, really drill them down and really check like the areas in which you're not maximizing, the opportunities that are embedded within each of your offerings or each of your products and all that. It's the time to really check that, do the retrospective as an organization, do it within the product, do it like as a business owner yourself, to really get what the problem is and how to move forward. Then the next thing I would like to say is the have part, right? So now you've gone from being to doing, and now what do you need to have, right? You need to have patience, like we said. So it's not just, it took time for you to, it's not going to happen like within the twinkle of an eye, right? But as long as you're on the right path, as long as you're doing what it is that you're required to do, you definitely eat the change, right? So it's time to have that patience. So now you want to be patient with yourself, right? So you want to be patient in seeing everything that you have done really like pan out now at the end of the day, right? You want to be patient with yourself. And yes, you also want to, what do you want to do? Maybe at this time too, you need to have, I don't know, mentors, maybe not mentors, the people that you listen to at this point, right? So you want to make sure, even if it's not a mentor, you have to have people that you listen to, I have people that I, follow that do not even know me. Do you understand? Because I learn from them, right? You go on YouTube, you look for materials that can, help you, to stay in that state where you know that, okay, things are really going to work out well, and you're really doing everything you can to make sure they work out well. Right. So yes, basically just to give a run through of everything that I've said, it would be number one to be, right, have a mindset shift. It's not the time to start jumping from pillar to post, applying band-aids to bullet wounds. It's the time to sit down, ask yourself questions, check whatever it is that the problem is and understand how to deal with them before moving forward. Can you still hear me? Then for the have part is you want to make sure that at this point, you have what I talked about earlier, you're building the morale of your team, right? At this point, you're building the morale of your team. At this point, you're hiring the right hands, right? Because you cannot see the picture when you're in the frame, right? You want to bring somebody else on board to help analyze what the issue is and find out what exactly it is that you're not doing right. You want to retrospect, right? You want to sit down and ask yourself questions. You want to retrospect your product. You want to retrospect your processes. You want to retrospect everything that you do within the organization, right? Then you also want to collaborate, right? Collaboration, they say, is the new currency. If there's need for it, right? You want to collaborate with, the right people, the right teams, the right partners. You understand? You want to find them and you want to collaborate with them. And then for the final category, which is the half category, you want to have patience, right? While you're doing this, and because you understand that it's not just going to happen, within like at the twinkle of an eye. So you want to have patience, and then you also want to make sure that you're doing things, that you have the right people, speaking to you. You have the right voices, speaking to you and saying things to you at this period. So yes, that is everything I have to share with regards to this. Thank you so much for having me on board.
Thank you very much, Busayo. Thank you for sharing the nugget with us. I must say that
Hello? Is it me or did I just lose you there?
oh, okay, can you hear me?
Okay, yes, I can hear you now.
Yeah, I said I'm a millennial. So when you mentioned things about patience, I said that's for millennials and Gen Z to hear. I mean, to hear first. All right, so thank you very much. And then you had mentioned how collaboration is the new currency, and that you can't go it alone. I just want to say a very big thank you. And the questions, we have a few questions too for you at the end of this session. So I'm sure you'll still be around. Thank you very much, Busayo. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, so now we're going to listen to Osayi Omokaro. Osayi Tres Omokaro, okay, is fondly called father of Edo startups. Is a GOPA certified trainer, facilitator, and coach. And he's a business development expert, business consulting expert, business management expert, and certified public speaker. Osayi is the Benin chapter director of a global community of entrepreneurs designed to educate, inspire, and connect other entrepreneurs. And they currently reside in 600 cities across the world, 125 countries, and host about 4 million startups monthly. Osayi has been awarded several recognitions from both the government and other private organizations, like the Tony Elumelu Foundation, Business Innovation and Growth, UWIN. Yeah, and Osayi consults for businesses and organizations to build systems and structures that ensures the growth, sustenance, and institutionalization of their businesses. He also mentors, coaches, and incubates startups. He guides young students to find their place, and teaches them how to maximize their lives through career coaching and many counseling opportunities. He is currently one of the mentors in the Tony Elumelu Foundation program, and is always going to be known as an entrepreneur. So let us welcome, with, like I always say, many words in the chat box, and a round of applause, Osayi Omokaro. Osayi.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Can we hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yeah, I'm supposed to be working with a slide, but I can already see that I'm finding it a bit difficult to share my slide. I don't know if it's possible for you guys to share from that end. Otherwise, I'll just go on. Is it possible for it to be shared from that end? Or I should go ahead? Can we hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Esther, can you hear? I'm trying to reach out to people at the back end so they can share your slides. All right. While we're at it, I think you can just start speaking to it as the shared slide. So yeah.
It's all right. Sorry. Okay. You already had to do the introduction, so I'll just go and speak straight to the subject. Yeah, like we know, challenges for me is a part of life. And when we're talking about growing your business in challenging times, I believe challenges, like if you're one of those that listened to Vusi when Vusi was talking at the session in Nigeria recently, made mention of the fact that Nigeria is a chaos. And sometimes when we find ourselves somewhere where it looks like things are saying a little bit, and maybe out of the blues, the chaotic happens. For us, it feels like home for us, So I believe that an entrepreneur is someone who is naturally built to overcome challenges, because challenges are opportunities. Challenges are the life wires of entrepreneurship. The reason why we are all in business is because there are frictions in the markets that we're trying to fix. Then I want to talk about growth from the perspective of health. I think while everything I'm going to be sharing is going to be collaborating what all of the powerful women I am blessed to be around have been sharing. In fact, when I saw this slide, I said I'm blessed among women, and as I begin to listen, I can see that I'm truly, truly blessed to be in the midst of these powerful women, So all I'm going to be sharing is going to be collaborating what everyone has been talking about. Just that we all will be taking it from multiple perspectives. So I'll be looking at it from the perspective of your business health. Truth is, when you want to talk about growth, it will be deceptional for you to think about growth without talking about health. It's unfortunate that my slide is not showing up. What I actually wrote on the slide, one of the things I wrote on the slide is that you grow your business the same way you grow your children. When you want your children to grow, what do? You don't beat them to grow. You don't push them to grow. You feed them. When they are healthy, they will grow. So when you focus on health, growth becomes a natural response to a healthy business. But when you focus on growth without prioritizing health, you're going to find out that all of your effort will yield very minimal results. So it's important. And I captioned a healthy business in 4 ways. A healthy business, in my perspective, is a business that is positioned correctly, promoted properly, perceived rightly by its customers, and priced appropriately. So you're going to just take this and add to what my beautiful sisters have been sharing. So I'm going to just spend the rest time that I have to look at how to do these 4 things. And I believe that in challenging time, as in every other time, when we put these things in perspective, when we execute our businesses, you're going to see that at every point in time, you're just consistently going to be flying. First, how do you position your business correctly? Of course, you can't take away what has been shared. A lot of us in Nigeria, particularly, even though I know this is a global audience, a lot of us Nigerians are accidental entrepreneurs. People who, if they have their way, they rather want to work somewhere and just earn a decent salary and move on. But because this environment is not there, they practically have no option than to start up something for themselves. So when we are doing that, of course, we don't have the time to do the necessary market research. But if you want to be that business that is positioned correctly, you must do market research. You must do your market research. You must identify your customer. No one business serves all customers. This is part of what I experience a lot of times when I work with, because I will do a lot with startups, people who are practically rookies just coming into the space. Sometimes you ask them, who are your target audience? They'll tell you everybody, because they believe that their products or their service is needed by everybody. But you must identify a target audience. If you have been doing business and now you're facing a challenge, all you need to do is to go back to the book and just do these 4 things. Am I really selling to the right persons? I remember doing a conference one time, some 2-3 years back, and I had about 25 to 30 persons in the room. One of the persons who attended said, "Sir, your conference last year transformed my life. I said I go to buy a car. I said I go to do this." He mentioned different things. He said he achieved them. He said, but I noticed something. The majority of the people that were in that room, what we were teaching, we were flying through their heads. That's to say, they love to be around, but they didn't have capacity to implement what I taught them. So the few that implemented, we saw the changes. That's what happens when you don't target the right audience. Then you must define your unique value proposition. What exactly am I bringing to the market? Why do we use Apple? Apple is not in the business of selling phone or helping us to make call. Apple is actually selling class. An average iPhone user is conscious of the class it belongs to because it's using the iPhone. And Apple creates a competition between themselves and themselves. So we don't go out there. So these are things that you must define in very simple terms. What exactly do I offer my customers? What exactly? Not the product or the service per se, but what exactly? There's a feeling they will come to me. Then you must craft a compelling brand story. You know, when you think of taste, Coca-Cola has told themselves that their target in life is that when human beings have the option of a bottle of water and a bottle of Coke, they want them to go for Coke. So that's why they are pouring out. Somebody said these are not done on the pages of social media. They are not done on your streets. They are not done on various physical locations. Business is done in the mind of the customer. So all of the efforts we are all putting in place is to rent a space in the head of the customer. That when the customer thinks about a product or a service related to what you're doing, you are the first person that comes on. Then you focus on customer experience. You know, are people that are expert in product design will tell you that you must focus on what is the customer's experience. You know, a customer will not want to patronize you. They have to pay here. They wait for this one to hear. You know, before you know it, they are already disgruntled. And of course, you must use targeted marketing channel. Do it in the mind of the customer. Then promoted properly. How do you promote properly? A lot of us small business people don't have budget. I think I can just
Yeah. Hello, Asai. Can you hear us? Hello.
I think he just dropped off the call.
Yeah, I think it's yeah, bandwidth is in internet interruptions there. Okay, we'll try to get him back up in a few minutes. All right, so while we wait for Sai to get back, I think we can take our learnings from Victoria Kanem. Victoria, are you ready for us? Hi, Victoria. Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear, I can hear you.
Oh, fantastic. So, yeah.
Great. I mean, I think
So,
the speakers
can you hear
have
me?
talked lots of things. Can you hear me? Please just
Yes.
confirm that.
Yes, I can. Yes, we can.
Great.
So, okay, so before you start, Victoria, I'll just do the introductions. Thank you. So Victoria Kanem is the head of operations at Traction Limited and is a business leader with experience in accelerating profitable growth for businesses. She is a senior executive in a fintech company, that is Traction, overseeing daily business operations, business performance and growth, senior team and cross-departmental goal alignment, ensuring execution and the implementation of strategies and investors management, amongst other functions. She's passionate about and has helped business owners with digital solutions to business management, growth, and sustainability. She has dedicated years in her career to co-growing a fintech business that provides the tools, products, and services required for business owners to achieve their goals. Her previous work experience spans across business development, venture capitalization, and finance. Victoria is excellence-oriented, self-driven, and passionate about everything she takes on. And she's also very passionate about mentoring junior managers to achieve growth and sustainable development in their careers. Please let us welcome Victoria Ekanem with a round of applause or words in the chat box. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. So I think that the speakers have done justice to the topic, and I would really like to avoid an information overload, with everyone here. So what I'm going to do real quick, I was going to tell a story of a friend of mine, but I'll just leave that aside because that's still going to reiterate the points. All right. So I'm just going to deep dive into, practical tools that we can use in challenging times. All right. I work with a fintech, I've grown the fintech. And the interesting thing about this is we started to build the solution during the pandemic. Right. So, you can thrive, in challenging times. All right. One thing I'd just really like to also, point out, amidst all the points, very valid points that have been, given out there, right? Every business owner, right? You need to innovate. Your business would die with the challenges, if you are unable to innovate. Innovation is the life and mind of your business. Okay, so you need to look inward, and beyond innovating, the most important thing also is the fact that you have to diversify. What are the other things that you can do? My friend literally has a tiger nut business, and with her tiger nut produce, she's making tiger nut flour, she's making tiger nut nibbles. With one batch of, supply, you are able to make, a number of other products. So how can you diversify, and how can you, you have to be very innovative. All right. And Traction Apps, was born during the pandemic, and the tools that are available. First, the speakers have all said that you need to do a pulse check of your business, do a health check of your business. What is wrong with my business? Traction Apps has a business diagnostic tool that you can use and just input your business information, and it's basically telling you what is going on well, what is not going on well, what are the things that you should do to improve the things that are not going on well. Every business at challenging times. I'm not even going to go into, what is wrong, what are the challenges. Our speakers have already done justice to that. We know the challenges, we know them. So it is time to look out for the solution. All right. So get a pulse check of your business. Know what is wrong with your business. Use the business diagnostic tool. It doesn't necessarily have to be Traction Apps' diagnostic tool, but there are tools out there. Get the pulse check of your business. Then look out for business management tools. Look, there are several stages that your business will go through. And they're different. The challenges come with different types of issues that your business will go through, right? However, what are the solutions? You have to, there are business management tools that are out there. Traction Apps also has a business management tool. You need to see how much your business is making every day, how much your business is spending every day. What are you spending on? You need to narrow it down. The speakers have already said that. You need to narrow it down, but the app makes it automated for you. The solution is there. How do you manage your customer? Do you think that the solution to the problem that your business is going through right now is the fact that you cannot do a loyalty program, or you want to do a loyalty program for your customers? The app is there to walk you through on how to do all of this. You manage your customers, you manage your employees, access, etc. Wherever you are. Some people may need to open another store, in another location. That might be your solution, right? How do you manage? You cannot be in 2, 3 stores at the same time. You are just one person, but you need to see everything that's going on in the business. Traction app helps you to do that. You can have the same app, you can give access to your employees, and you can monitor everything that is going on from wherever you are, right? You also need to have a community of people that are going through the same thing as you are going through, so that you're not missing out on information, you're not missing out on solutions. These people are also innovating through their businesses, and they're coming up with solutions, right? And there's a community of people that are willing to share. All right, they're willing to share, what the solutions are. There are communities out there. The Traction Apps has a solution. They have communities. You can join the communities. Business Day is also a community, and that's why they're doing this, right? A community of people that are looking out for you intentionally. The speakers have also mentioned it, and I said earlier that, there are phases that your business goes through, right? There are also, peculiar issues that your business will go through. At a point, you might need to fund the business. It might be money issues. We know that money issues are prevalent in many businesses, right? If you do not take account of the things that are going on in your business, if you do not you do not know how to manage your inventory, you do not know how to take stock, you do not know how to take the record of your transactions and your sales. If that's not done, you cannot have access to facilities out there. Because, guys, you know that people want to see record, historicals. What have you done? What have you been doing? How much have you made in this business, right? Before they can give you access to facilities, loans, etc., or before they can even invest in your business, if that's what you think is the solution to your business at the point, right? So, use these tools. They're digital tools. They're there to help. They're there to solve the problems. They're there to, hold your hands and walk you through things that you will not be able to do by yourself as a business owner. So use the tools that are available to you. There's several out there. Our speaker also mentioned AI. AI makes life easy for us right now. Use the tool, use the digital solutions. They will walk you through. And there's some things that, they're not, technology cannot help with every problem, right? That's why the community is out there to ask questions. One of the speakers mentioned the mentor. Important. You also need a sponsor, right? Mentor is one. A sponsor is someone that carries your matter on their head. A mentor, you're going to the mentor. A sponsor is going all out for you, and looking out for you and your business, and giving you opportunities, putting you in the right place, putting you in the right room with the right people, etc. You need sponsors also. So really, I just wanted to mention, the tools that are out there. Traction Apps also gives loans out to businesses and all that. So yeah, I think I'll just pause and just, deep dive on the many other pointers during the question and answer session. So yeah.
Thank you very much, Victoria. Thank you very much. I like the fact that you mentioned, just like other speakers, the importance of SMEs actually leveraging the available tools for them for business management and tracking a lot of stuff in their businesses. I don't think that can ever be overemphasized. So thank you very much for reiterating those. So we have a few more questions, yeah, like I said at the end. So I'd like to know if Osai is ready for us now. Is he on? Osai? Esther, is Osai ready? Oh, okay. While we wait for him, I think we'll just dive right into the question and answer session. So so far, all the speakers have mentioned quite a few important, nuggets, if I may say, and I think it's just recurring. So the recurring themes are, being very consistent in providing excellent customer experience, doing very regular health or pulse checks, and taking a step back, just to see exactly what the problems are, that the need for SMEs to innovate, and diversify, and also collaborate with other people, that would understand their businesses or their business and know exactly what they're trying to achieve. And so, yeah. So now my question will go to the first for Omo Clark. Omo, are you? And so that question will be about AI. Even if Victoria already mentioned, AI and how people should really use it. I think I have like two friends and they just think, oh, this AI thing is the, I feel like artificial intelligence sounds like something that is abstract, almost like something that is not what's the word now? I don't want to use the word inclusive, but maybe for lack of a better word right now. So they just feel like it's just there. It's only for SMB or small businesses that are tech inclined, and they just think it's not something that everyone can apply in their own business. So what's your advice for such SMBs who think that AI is something that is just, oh, you know what I can do? AI is not for me.
AI, like all technology, is for everybody. So one of the challenges with technology and SMEs or micro businesses, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay.
Yes, we can.
It's like, you don't have to be a technology person to use technology, right? Yeah. If you've properly planned, I think Osai was talking about when he's talking about healthy businesses and that, when you've properly planned and structured your businesses, if you've identified the areas that you want to automate, and AI is what will help you do that the best, and you don't know how to do it yourself, then the best thing is to approach people like myself, or technology people that understand technology, and they will help you implement that. And all you have to do is continue using it. So you don't have to be a tech professional to use technology. As long as you've done like a proper business review, you've understood that, okay, this is what I want to do. And then AI can, I suppose one of the issues with like, what is AI? Because everybody is talking about AI and we're using that, but there are so many different technologies, digital technologies you can use for your business, to make it better. AI, I think people have made it scary because people talk about all the negative aspects of it, but there are many positive aspects. People are using AI positively to do so many things, You just need to understand how to use it for good for your business, and enhance all the positive aspects of it. I think, that's it. So it goes back to your drawing board. Understand your business, understand what you're trying to achieve, what you're trying to do, your value proposition to your customers. And if AI is the best tool that will enable you to do that, then, you can implement AI. There are two types of AI. There's generative AI, which is like ChatGPT, which is what a lot of people are talking about. And then there's predictive AI, which just automates your existing business processes, and helps you do that. So, but like, if in doubt, speak to a technology professional, and then they can help you cut through all the excesses, and then you can, see what you need to do or what you don't need to do. I don't know if that answers your question, Oludare.
Yes, it does. Thank you very much. Yes, it does. Thanks. Thank you very much. So apologies, Nneka. I didn't know you were online. I thought you went off at some point. So I thank you very much. So now we'll be having Nneka session, Nneka Adesoya, who is a food business consultant. Nneka is a graduate of the prestigious Covenant University, where she studied business administration. Nneka successfully transitioned from running a thriving homemade Nigerian food business and catering company called Super Dishes to food business consulting, where she offers expert advice to food business owners to help their business growth. She also provides a range of resources, guides, and templates to foodpreneurs to help give them much needed clarity and structure in their businesses. So a customer care enthusiast with over 10 years of experience. She's gathered a lot of experience, across industries, telco, and in other industries. She currently volunteers as a co-governor of the Newlyweds and Honeymooners Community Group and serves as the coordinator of the Singles Fellowship Unit of her home church, the Covenant Nation, along with her husband. She's joyfully married with two amazing children. Please let us welcome Nneka Tomilola Adesoya. Nneka, over to you.
Hi, Dara. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you for remembering me.
I apologize, I do.
But that's absolutely fine. Thank you so much for having me, and a big thank you to all the amazing speakers for dropping solid nuggets for us to just run with. I trust that it would be something that we would lean on to and keep it moving. Thank you, Busayo. I particularly enjoyed your session. Thank you for sharing so many things, to help us do better in business, even in challenging times. Okay, so I'll just get right into it. And I like to say that, pretty much everybody has touched on almost everything that I probably would have wanted to talk about. But, one of the most important things, I'm unashamed about my faith, right? And so I would speak from that angle. And, the Bible says, Jesus said to us, and he said that, count it all joy when you fall into diverse, tribulations and trials, right? And, it's, he also said something that, that tribulations in this life, you would experience tribulations, but be of good cheer. So it's safe to say that even Jesus requires that we go through different challenges and tribulations, in life. And, one of these things, that happens when we go through trials and tribulations is it stretches us, right? And one of the things I say to myself particularly is pressure is a privilege. Okay, so if you're in business and then you have times where you're going through, it's supposedly called challenging times. I remember Messiah saying, what do you see challenges to be? All right. And I think Oma also said that, that what would you call challenges, so to speak, so like I said earlier, count it all joy when you go through these things, because even in challenging times, I believe it's there to stretch you. These challenges are there to stretch you. These challenges are there to make you rethink why you're doing what you're doing. They're there to, lead you back to your source. And who is this source? Is God, so you still have to, everything still points back to the originator of everything that we do as a business, the originator of all that we exist as, as individuals and all of that. So it's important that, you go back, to your source and still find out, okay, what am I not doing right? What can I do better? I know that, with challenges half the time, there's a word that has kept me going: never let crisis go to waste. So even in business, when you're going through a particular type of crisis, or it looks like a challenge, or it looks like you're not making as much sale, or it looks like you're experiencing a setback, do not let it go to waste. Because if you get quiet within yourself and you sit back and ask yourself what exactly is going on, this challenge can help you chart a new territory, can help you chart a new course entirely. So, let's not be in a hurry and say, okay, my village people are the ones after me, when these challenges have come, or maybe there's something that you didn't do right. I have a friend who says to me that whatever challenge you're going through, you haven't been through it before. All right. So give yourself some grace. This challenge that I'm going through, what would I do differently? What would I had said already that particularly for me, I still go back to my source and still ask questions. Lord, what exactly can I do, to move to the next phase that you'd have me move into? And, Busayo, thank you, Busayo, for even giving me a soft landing here, about getting help from external sources, seeking for a consultant, getting people who are quite knowledgeable and can bring their expertise into the business. And you really just don't want to call anybody. You need to call the person that can witness to the situation that you're going through at the moment, And so I would use my business for an example, right? At the time where I was running a food business, COVID came, and so to speak, COVID was supposed to be a great year for food business owners, right? Everybody wanted food. Nobody wanted to go to the market. It was supposed to be, it was a challenging season. I say that because, but then it was a privilege, and if you remember what I said earlier, that pressure is a privilege, right? But COVID is supposed to be, for food business owners, we're getting orders back to back. It was, it was demanding, and therefore it was a stretch for me. So it was either two things: I had to rethink, or I had to change my mindset and say that, okay, what can I do in this situation? I couldn't have my staff, come into the kitchen anymore to cook, because at the time we didn't even have a space for them to stay in, right? So they always had to go and come. And so the bulk of the work was dependent on me, right? And so in that moment, I really had to figure out what could work. Okay, so we had to change our delivery models, and then determine that, okay, instead of delivering every day during, each week, we can, create a time for everyone to come to cook. So if you have to, or rather for everybody to order at different times. So I had different delivery days: Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, in the course of running the business. And so I was able to offer a solution at that time, for clients who really needed us to, give them food or to deliver and all of those and everything in between. And I think most importantly, when you're going through anything that is challenging or when your business is experiencing a challenge, I will still hammer on it. I strongly feel in those times, just find where to redirect the energy, because Yoruba would say something. For those who are not Yorubas, please, I apologize. I believe Dara would help us. If you're not Yoruba, I would say, why are you not Yoruba in this very moment? And there's something that Yorubas would say that, I don't know how to interpret it, but it just simply says that when you're desperate, you make wrong decisions. Right. And so half the time, during challenging seasons, it looks like people just get desperate. I just want solution. I just want something to do right now. I just want something to fix. I strongly believe, and I'm going to wrap it up on this. I strongly believe in the most challenging of times that you're going through. That's the best time for you to be quiet as an individual, as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, as a business leader, and everything in between. It's important that in times of challenges, in time that seems like, it's stretching you, it's about to break you, there's really no sense of direction, why not get quiet? The Bible says in quietness and in confidence, you would find your strength. So it's important that, in the most challenging of times, which would never stop coming. I say this to everyone who cares to listen. Every challenge is a privilege for you to stretch. Every challenge that you go through is a privilege for you to become better. Every challenge that any business goes through is about to birth a new phase and a new cycle. So you should be able to recognize it and not get lazy or complacent and say, I'm not sure about this. Before I, transitioned into, doing food business consulting, I ran a great business. I still talk about my business. I'm still proud about my food business, right? But there were seasons I knew it was time for me to birth something new. And so if I still stayed there, I would have lost relevance, right? If I still stayed and said, okay, let me just keep doing my food business and then maybe I'm able to merge it, or I'm able to run it alongside being a food business consultant, I would have lost relevance at different points, because businesses are like babies. They're selfish. You have to give your time, you have to give your energy. So it's important to recognize what the Lord is leading you to do. And for those who are probably not believers, you have an inner witness. There's always a voice that tells you something to do better. There's always a voice that says, why not choose life instead of death? There's always a voice that tells even the most intelligent, the most intellectual person to make this choice instead of making that choice. And that's always the voice of truth. So in the most challenging time for your business, lean to that voice of truth that channels you, that leads you to a higher place. Some of it, sometimes you probably don't even understand. At the time where I knew it was time for me to pivot from actively doing food business delivery, I didn't have clarity of what the next phase was, right? I wasn't even sure. I'm just like, okay, I knew that chapter of running a food business actively had closed. And if I had stayed there, I would have regretted my decision. I would have been making good money, but I would have not been satisfied. I would have not been, thoroughly pleased. Other doors would probably not have opened for me. I probably would have even had this opportunity to come and speak here and share my story. So, even in business, it's important for everyone to understand the seasons, understand whatever season you're in. The greatest of businesses had seasons that they didn't, lean into. I don't want to call certain brands, but we had great phone brands that I knew they knew in themselves that it was time for them to pivot to something else, which was going to open another door. They probably didn't take hold on it. And then today we have iPhone. Today we have, other big, phone brands that are doing stuff. But they're still there, but they're as relevant as we would have wanted them to be now. So as you journey, and for whoever is listening to me, I have a few people here who are from my community. Thank you all so much for being here. I remember Bola, yes, I think it's Bola that said that, about surrounding yourself with the right people. So surround yourself with the right people, with the right voices, and give yourself some grace. You have never been in this situation before. So it's important that, when you're going through challenges, give yourself some grace. You haven't been here before, and so it will pass, which is one of the things that I say to myself. In fact, when I'm going through a particular pain, or for those who are ladies here, when I even have, maybe cramps and all of that, I say to myself a lot of times, and it's a mind shift. I just say, this is not real. It's going to pass. And it's like I tell my body what to do. So you need to tell the situation how to align to you, and take on every other thing that that all other speakers have said. And then by the time we put it together, I believe we'll have a powerful book for lots of entrepreneurs to be able to scale through different phases. And most importantly, count it all joy when you fall into trials and tribulations, because there's greater ahead. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you very much, Ineka. Thank you. Thank you for your authenticity. Yeah, thank you. And from what you have said so far, it's almost like reiterating what other speakers have said, just in a different light, about still innovating, like Amo Clark said earlier about innovating. So that part where if you're not a believer, if it's God you want to go back to, if it's your data you want to go back to, if it's, to just take a step back. Also, like Busayo mentioned, what the next thing is to do. Thank you very much, Neka. I'm sure you're still around.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, I am.
All right, thank you. So now we'll have Osai, after which we'll take the remaining questions and answers, and then we wrap up. So Osai, over to you. Thank you very much, everyone, for still staying with us. Thank you.
Thank you.
So Osai, over
Thank
to
you
you.
so much. Thank you. Sincere apology for the internet mix-up. Sometimes Nigerian situation won't just always want to represent themselves, but it's all right. So I'll quickly just run through. Like I said, we grow our business almost the same way we grow your children. So once you focus on health, it's easy for the business to grow and showcase what you are inside. I say that the externality of every business is actually a reflection of the internal composition of the business. And I want to particularly appreciate Nenka for bringing the spiritual perspective. I have a radio program. Yesterday, the focus of my radio conversation was spiritual intelligence for business growth. Why did I default to what you just said? A lot of times in challenging times, the entrepreneur is going through a lot. It's going through a lot. So if you don't have that place where you go back to resuscitate yourself, it's really a tough situation. Okay. Like I already talked about the four indications for me of a healthy business. I talked about positioned correctly, promoted properly, perceived rightly, and priced appropriately. So in positioning correctly, I talked about the fact that there is need for a detailed market research. Understand the market you're playing in. Understand the fact that business is not necessarily done on social media, platform. Business is done on the mind of your customers. So every time you're trying to position yourself, the reason you must engage social media, the reason you must do the necessary advertisement, all of those marketing is because you are constantly trying to own a space in the mind of your customer. And once your customers perceive you in a certain way, particularly the first speaker emphasized the fact that in challenging times, people just want to engage with people who they could perceive some semblance of love. That's a time when the focus is not necessarily milking them. The focus is just ensuring that they are okay. For instance, during the COVID, one of my business, where I run the business, one of my business actually came to a standstill. At that time, I just told myself what was necessary was to keep your head above waters. I was practically running that aspect of my business alone. But I already have customers who will reach out to me. Wow, I'm bringing goods for you. And the business actually is a middle player between those that generate these goods and those that need it. So I just make the connection. The person who is buying from me is driving down. The person who is bringing it to me is driving down. I meet them, they do the exchange, and I take my leverage. But I was still in the mind of the customer. I was still very much around. Even though I lost all my staff during the COVID era, so that is it. You done properly. Then you must promote properly. Develop a comprehensive marketing strategy. A lot of us get into business accidentally, and that's justified, especially if you're in Nigeria. We get the option of getting a job is not readily available, but having done that, you must begin to come back home and say, how do I position and promote myself properly? Because the customer doesn't really understand the fact that you came in accidentally. The customer just wants to be served. So you must promote yourself on a consistent basis with your solid marketing research. Yeah, you decided on the niche you're focusing on. Of course, you can't run away nowadays the use of content marketing. The truth of the matter is the reality of today's business is the fact that you must always be on the face of your customers. You must always be available. You must always be within their radar. When they are thinking about businesses like yours, you must be among the first three they must think about. And the way you can do that is to ensure that you're constantly out there utilizing social media professionally. A lot of us business owners still go on social media to while away time. It's wrong. You must use social media professionally. Be intentional. While you are on social media, ensure that everything you are doing intentionally. Then you must participate in industry events. I think Omo Clark or somebody has already made mention of that. For instance, in Benin City, Edo State, there's hardly an event that is related to entrepreneurship that you don't find me there, whether it's being put together by governments, whether it's being put together by other industry players, possibly because I've been there for a while, invitations just get to me on it. So, but for me, it's something I also recommend. Don't do business standing alone. Connect with other players. Opportunities come from those kind of places. Then of course, you must constantly monitor and measure your results. Then you must be perceived rightly by the people you are serving. The way you can be perceived right is first, you must understand the nitty-gritty of your target audience. Who are they? What exactly are they looking for? What is it that brings them to you? What is it that they value in the things you do? Because once you iterate and see what you're doing that is working, you want to emphasize that so well, then you must define your brand identity. A lot of us, because we are still small businesses, what happens is that we want to take advantage of every opportunity that comes our way. So if you are doing business next week, it looks like it's not working as you want it to work, you jump into the next one. In the mind of the market, they are confused. Miles Moreau said something. He said the reason why a lot of people are broke is because the world does not know exactly what to pay you for. So if the world does not categorically say that this is what they need to pay you for, then you're already in problem. So when people think about a certain thing, your name should pop up. So you must be perceived rightly. Then of course you must be priced appropriately. This is where a lot of us run ourselves around when it comes to business. Sometimes all we do amongst this, even though I said consider customer perception, all we do in our pricing model is to look at what the customers want and what the market rate is. When we don't even understand our cost components, you must have an understanding of the fact that that product you are selling is the revenue stream from which you pay your utility bill. You will pay your staff. You will pay. So don't just say, oh, the last time we bought goods, we bought at so and so amount. You just do a markup of 10% and you sell. In fact, if you do your homework, you realize that the cost of your goods almost have to be 100% for you to sell and still be in business. So a lot of us don't know this. So we price ourselves out of business. So you must price properly. And I'm sure when you put all of this in place, your business, irrespective of the challenges, will always remain above waters. Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Asai, for this session. And like you had said earlier about, you made the analogy of how, a business is like a child. You feed it. So if you want it to grow, you have to do the right thing. So yeah, thank you very much, Asai. So now we continue with the questions, the Q&A session. So please feel free to put in the chat box any questions you may have. So we'll ask the larger house. So our second question to Omar Clark. Omar Clark had answered a question about data, artificial intelligence, and how SMBs should not run away from it. Now the question is, everyone here had mentioned the essence of aggressive marketing. So I was going to ask, what's the right balance between the aggressive marketing and all the data privacy rights we have now, globally, and data protection laws? Omar Clark, so how do you think SMBs can actually, do the marketing in the right way, using, people's data and, not contravening any laws, or as it were?
What do you mean using marketing using people's data? Do you mean specifically targeting people that have signed up to your...
Yeah. So for example, how a lot of SMBs want to advertise something and they're in your DMs, and that's even fair. That's quite direct. Email marketing especially. So I had a friend who tried to send an email, to a large number of, and one or two persons threatened her and said, "How did you get my email?
Oh,
How did you get my email? That I'm going to sue you next time I see this." And she's called it unsolicited mails. You cannot send this to me. So that's what I'm saying. So what's the right balance?
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. So basically, in Nigeria, we've got half and half data protection laws. Unfortunately, I'm saying half and half because some bits are covered, some bits are not covered. They have policies and provisions. So data protection in Nigeria is a bit half and half, if I put it that way. But when you're doing your marketing, yes, so you need to make sure that you're sticking by the rules and you are not breaking any laws. Yeah. Traditional marketing, face-to-face marketing, they are more direct. I gave the example of going to an event and speaking to people, getting their contacts. So obviously that one, you actually spoke to them and they gave you their consent, by giving you their information. If you're doing a digital marketing, there are different digital marketing strategies, so email marketing, yes, that's when it's best if you send to people that have consented. But if you, for example, buy and contact lists from people and you don't know those people, obviously you may fall into the kinds of traps that your friend fell into, by just selling unsolicited mail. Most people will just unsubscribe though. So it's only the one or two or three people that will come back and be like, so I don't know what she sent out to them that made, them get that kind of strong reaction. Most people will just unsubscribe, so, and they will leave your mailing list and things like that. But it's always good to follow the law so you don't fall foul. You're a small business. You don't want to be doing anything that will cause you wahala, and we take you to court or something like that. So and doing that, so you might think about aggressive marketing, but think about your strategy. What are you using? There are so many digital marketing techniques, you know what I mean? Email marketing is excellent. It's one of the best, for B2B, for example. But there are other B2B marketing techniques that you can also use that won't make you fall foul of the law or start, impinging on people's privacy and things like that, So when you're doing your planning, your digital marketing strategy planning, because before you go into digital or any marketing, for example, you need to have a strategy, you need to have a plan like everything else. I think these are some of the things that you need to take into consideration. How do I ensure that I do not impinge on people's privacy? You don't want to be sending unsolicited mail and because that will damage your reputation as well. Because when you start getting a negative, this person, but like I said, I don't know what they are sending. So everything needs to be put in context. It's not, I can't just have a blanket thing, because in my business, we send out email marketing, we use email marketing, and sometimes we get people unsubscribe, and things like that. But nobody has ever threatened us, in any way, form or fashion. So you need to be cautious when you're doing actually, you need to be strategic, not cautious, You need to know, what are you using? Who are you sending to? What are the pros and cons of using this methodology that I'm using? you know what I mean? So that will sort of like cover the data thingy. But in terms of the law, our data protection laws in Nigeria are a bit half and half. We don't have a proper data protection law in Nigeria, you know? So you need to, that's another thing as well, you know? So, but like, plan very well. Sit back, think of the strategy you are using. Am I going to offend people? You know, how would this, because when you're doing your marketing, you need to also think of how will people receive this, my message? You know, what am I telling them? How will it be received? So you need to be strategic in whatever it is you're putting out there.
All right, Thank you very much, Mo. Thank you for answering, doing justice to that question. Thank you very much. So now the next question is for Busayo Balogun. Quickly, you had mentioned about, you mentioned the importance of collaboration, you know, taking a step back and inviting someone to come and, you know, see maybe the challenges or the issues you may be having as an SMB with fresh eyes and stuff. So what do you think, what's the key advice you would give to any SMB in that selection process, such that the person is not just choosing just anyone that doesn't understand? I don't know how to put it now. Someone that has how do you know someone that has
like
the very best interest
know-how
of the business exactly at heart? Not even just the know-how, you know, the fact that, you know, this person has the interest of my business at heart, because every SMB owner that I know are very protective of their business. It's like mother hen on their, you know, so it's very, they need to be able to trust whoever is going to come in to check things out. So what counsel do you have for this?
Yeah, thank you for that. So if I have to answer this question, I would say, you know, in business like projects, you know that there are actually no two businesses that are alike. So even if we do the same thing, it's the way we run our businesses are different, right? So we don't have two businesses that are alike, right? So in understanding that, in a situation whereby you find out that you actually need someone to come on board and help with something in particular, right? The ideal thing to do, or I would recommend, would be to, you know, take your time to check out this people that you're looking to bring on board, right? So you want to go to their website, you want to see if their mission or their vision kind of like aligns with what you have in mind. You want to look at this particular service that they're looking to come in and offer, right? You want to check to see that the solutions that they have listed under, because of course, if you're saying you do this, then you're telling me the benefits and the solutions that you'll be bringing on board, right? If you're going to be doing that for me. So you want to also be sure that, you know, their solutions are in line with what you have in mind, right? As a business, you want to be sure that, okay, beyond, you said it yourself, right? Your business is like your baby, and as a result of that, you're very protective of it. You don't want somebody else coming in and just changing things, right? So, and that is why, you know, having a vision, even as a business, right, or mission, vision, whatever, you know, makes sense, because of course, by the time whoever is coming on board is taking you out of that, you can easily tell, right? You can easily tell if things are not going in the direction that you want them to go, right? So my advice would be, check them out to be sure that whatever it is that the solutions that they are bringing on board are in line with your own mission and your vision as a company or as an organization, right? Dialogue with whoever it is, like you want to be friends with these people, right? So you want to find out beyond the work that they're coming in to do. You want to know if they really have your best interest at heart. So whoever it is that is coming on board, you want to be friends with them, right? You want to understand what it is that they want to do. You have to understand how it is that they intend to help you. Like ask questions until you're satisfied, right? And like Neka said, you have an inner witness within you, right? If things are not going right, you can easily tell. It depends if you're a spiritual person, you know how to go back there and get answers. Whatever it is, if you're an intuitive person, you know how to tell, right? If people are coming in to maybe bullshit you or actually point you in the right direction. Do you understand? So yes, those would be my own recommendation with choosing someone to come on board.
All right, thank you very much, Busayo. I appreciate it. So this next question is for Osai, and it's about, what do you think, first of all, is the very common seeing your profile and the number of entrepreneurs that you've impacted, directly, the common mistake that a lot of entrepreneurs make with respect to growing their businesses, and how can they, very brief one, and how can they stop making those mistakes? Is Osai online? Okay, before he responds, we'll just go to the last question, which will be for Nneka and Victoria. I think they would have different perspectives, so we'll be happy to hear that. And is, how can SMEs, manage their mental health in the midst of all of these things, challenges? Mental health is a thing now. Everyone doesn't want depression. If you're able to, so what's your advice for SMEs? So Victoria wants to go first. Victoria, or
I can go first.
Or Nneka, yeah.
I'll leave Nneka to deal with the good parts. I'll leave Kaka to do. See, it's very real. The mental health, situation is very real, and I think it should be attended to. I mentioned two things while I was speaking. First, I mentioned the fact that you can be a part of a network of people that are like-minded. It is very important. It can help to put you in check. I also mentioned, apart from a mentor, I also mentioned, a sponsor. A sponsor is someone that is passionate about you and passionate about your business. That person you're definitely comfortable going back to speak to share your, heartfelt issues with, right? So I think that those two things, if they're in place in your life, they will help you to just glide over that season of challenge, or that particular challenge that you're facing. And luckily, you might have people and groups that are able to hold your hand, and see you through that phase. But it is real, and business owners should really pay attention to. Nigeria is hard, as it were, right? So it's real. Over to you, Kaka.
Yeah, thank you very much, Victoria. Nneka, one or two. We have a few minutes more to go. So yeah, quickly. Nneka, are you there? Oh, okay. Oh, I can't hear you. Can you hear Nneka?
No.
Nneka, I think you're muted. Okay.
Oh shit, so muted again.
All right. While we wait for Nneka, Osai, is Osai online?
Okay, I think I'm back up. I've been assigned.
Fantastic. So yeah, we're asking just quickly your advice to SMBs.
Okay,
Yeah.
like she
Managing their
said,
mental.
right? I honestly know that these things are there, right? I'm probably not one to accept that and say, okay, this is, I choose to be depressed. I say to a few of my clients, I'm like, don't be in a hurry to get into depression because something is not working. Half the time we find ourselves wanting to just run. Let me just go and be depressed. Let me just be depressed, and I think that Bola had said something about being patient, So you also attested to the fact that, millennials and Gen Zs have to understand the skill. It's a skill to be patient, because a lot of times we, run into wanting to be depressed because something is not working in that moment. And, I would not doubt the fact that, Nigeria can be tough for some certain persons, or not, let me not even say certain persons. I know that situations around can make things seemingly slow, tough, quite challenging, and stretch you. But I would say first things first, take care of your spirit. Right. A lot of people don't even, pay attention to themselves. Take care of your spirit, take care of your soul, know what your stressors are. Entrepreneurs are very unaware. I've been there before, Dara. I have been there where I literally told my husband on a particular day, I said, babe, I would choose my business first, take care of the children. Sometimes we're unaware. We're just chasing the relevance. We want to be on Instagram, want to be able to post. You want to feel, the pressure to be found doing is a lot, right? So it's important that, entrepreneurs have to play that divergent role. You have to be different. If everybody is saying, let's go this way, come draw yourself back and really take care of yourself. Know what your stressors are. I knew at the points where I was losing it because I didn't quite even have, I had a toddler. It was my nanny who took care of my son for the first, few months. And it took God calling me back and like, show what you're not lonely. This money and this relevance, you want to kill yourself, Yeah. And then I really had to get quiet and I had to take out time to begin to understand how to care for myself. I mean, food business, as you might know, is stressful. You will walk, you're going to the market, when you go today, you're trying to meet a customer's order, you're doing bulk order. So I was working Monday to Sunday. Dara, I didn't have time to rest. There was no time to even breathe. If a customer calls, I didn't have a closing time. So a lot of times, the reason why entrepreneurs enter into this depression so early is there's no structure. There is no time to close. Customers can call you at 8 o'clock, at 10 o'clock in the night, kilo day, and then tell you that they want their food delivered at 6 o'clock in the morning. So care for your spirit, take care of yourself, build a structure around your life, really take care of yourself. I know the pressure for us to be relevant, for us to have stuff to do is high, but you must care for yourself and know what triggers you. If you're under stress, manage it, build a structure around your life where, you're able to pay attention to other things. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Neka. Thank you so much. I would have loved to hear more. It's just that we're running out of time. We need to wrap up quickly. But thank you very much, Neka. So, Sai, finally, after this, the business day team will wrap up and we'll call it a day. So, Sai, the question was, what's the common mistake that that SMEs make from your experience with them? You've mentored them in thousands. So just one very briefly and an advice for anyone that is listening.
Okay, first, particularly technology-driven entrepreneurs, they build products because they have the capacity to build it, not necessarily because the market is calling for it. Remember, I'm talking about startup founders now. Oh, I have this technology product. I think it will revolutionize everything. We build it one day down the line. Nobody is patronizing. So we must build from the market perspective, not building because we have capacity to build. So that's the major, you said just one, that's the major challenge I see with startup founders. But like Neka also said, a lot of us business owners, we run blind. And part of the consulting work I do is helping people to build systems and structure. There's no reason why somebody should. In fact, who says you must be the one taking all the costs? So these things need to be structured, and it's very simple to do. Just like a lot of time we count those things as costs instead of expenses that is necessary for us to do. Thank you. Over to you, Dara.
Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you so much. I'm actually in transit, so I want to say a very big thank you to all the speakers here. I want to say a very big thank you to all the speakers for finding out some out of your busy schedule to speak. Thank you so much. And I want you all to know that Business Day is pleased to invite your organization to leverage on our platforms to reach your target audience so we can help you advertise all your services, because we have over 4 million subscribers. We have over 4 million impressions on our website. So you can actually send me a message for more details. And also check out our website, Business Day, on Instagram, LinkedIn, for more details. Thank you so much, everyone, once again. We really, really appreciate you. I hope everyone can hear me.
We can hear you, but we don't know who's talking to
us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, my name is Esther.
Okay, that's Esther. It's all right.
Yes, thank you so much, Mr. Osai. Thank you, everyone. Really appreciate you, and hope to see you on board again when we ask you to come. Thank you so much for accepting to speak today. We really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, bye.
All right, bye.
Bye, everyone. Yeah.